even like in the rap world, like all of the rappers that you know that never been to jail and never got in any trouble with the law, but they talk as if their life is opposite of that. Like, those are federal informants, like, you know.
You think they're really out there?
Because if it ain't that, is it the snitch? Is it your informant friend? Did they come to you? Did they get you? When did they get you?
Right.
Is that what you hiding? Is that what it is? Because this don't make no sense.
So that would be the question. What is it?
What is it?
Why did you do this to me?
That would be the only question.
Guys, after dropping yet another bombshell, Katt Williams has done it once more. Similar to his uncensored interview with Club Shay from the previous year, from which the world has yet to recover. In this interview, Ed from Katt revealed a lot of hot and spicy industry secrets as usual. But one of the things that truly stood out to the public was when he commented, "The fact that some rappers in the industry are federal informants naturally made many people think of Jay-Z right away when he said that. Rumors have been circulating for years that Jay-Z's day of reckoning is imminent, but guess what? It has never happened, and the Fed is taking down everyone in his immediate vicinity. Jay-Z is one of them. Therefore, I'm never going to go after him. But is he actually employed by the federal government? What did Katt say about many of your favorite rappers being rats? Let's examine this. Katt Williams' annual industry-shattering candid interviews are becoming more common, and we are totally on board for them. His chat with Club Shay last year rocked the entire industry in a significant way, and as the year went on, from Diddy to Steve Harvey to the industry freak-offs and everything in between, it seemed like a mirror into the future. However, he's back at it again, and this time he did an intense interview with Theo Von where he discussed. Jay-Z was the first person that came to mind when Katt mentioned snitches in the industry. However, let's be honest, isn't it strange that practically everyone in Jay-Z's immediate vicinity has been apprehended by the federal government and he is still the only one unharmed? It's rather strange, but the answer is straightforward. Ask Katt. In order to comprehend Jay's extensive history with the feds, we must go all the way back to when there was no Jay-Z and no Roc Nation, when Jay was just a young man living on the streets and attempting to make ends meet. As you may know, Jay-Z dealt with a lot of things before his music career took off enough. Many of them weren't exactly legal at the time, but Jay-Z had a close friend named DeHaven with whom he used to roll. They actually grew up in the same building in the Marcy Projects, and they were so close that Jay was the godfather of DeHaven's daughter. Furthermore, DeHaven was essentially Jay-Z's partner for many of his business dealings at the time, so he was a major factor in Jay-Z's rise. One regrettable occurrence that revealed Jay-Z's true colors occurred on a devoted night when DeHaven and Jay-Z went out to pick up a new shipment of their merchandise and ended up shadowing 450 G. However, they were unexpectedly ambushed before they could return to their side of town. Fast DeHaven attempted to divert the assailants' attention so Jay could get away from the danger, and fortunately, they both survived. However, when DeHaven caught up with Jay-Z, he discovered that something was seriously amiss. He was having trouble breathing, and realizing that he had been struck and was about to lose consciousness, he managed to call a cab to take him to the hospital. Before departing, he gave Jay the money and item they were carrying, instructing Jay to get his mother and meet him at the hospital. Jay did as DeHaven asked, and everything was fine. But when the two best friends became embroiled in a case together that resulted in DeHaven serving 5 years in prison while Jay walked, you would think Jay would support DeHaven because they were both involved in the business that landed him in jail. Despite being in prison, DeHaven claims that Jay utterly betrayed him, leaving him to deal with the legal situation on his own. Jay didn't even feel sorry for it, accusing DeHaven of snitching in his tracks. Although DeHaven has often denied snitching on Jay-Z, he was never able to recover from Jay's accusations of capitulation, which is why we don't communicate. Betrayal, so DeHaven was largely ignored while Jay was out here establishing his empire. Jay essentially controlled the conversation until DeHaven gave a powerful interview with Real Life Productions, in which he was at last able to share his perspective. Jay-Z manages to escape every situation he gets involved in because he is incredibly protected because of his relationship with Desiree Perez, a former deferral informant with a very dubious past. Ironically, Desiree doubles as both Jay-Z's right-hand woman and president of Roc Nation when Jay was out here calling for Haven to be a snitch. The double standards are absurd, but here's the thing. Her background is even darker than that of a corporate thief who was caught evading taxes or anything. She was born to Cuban immigrant parents in the Bronx. In the mid-1990s, Desiree entered the music industry while working as a part-time assistant manager at a nightclub in New York. From there, she began interacting with local artists, which is how she met Jay-Z. Fast forward to 2009, and at the 2019 Billboard Women in Music Awards, Jay declared that he had selected Desiree as the CEO of Roc Nation in her new position. Desiree had joined the company as the chief operating officer and was working closely with Jay-Z and Beyonce on a number of projects. Some of the most significant initiatives in rock country were under Desiree's supervision. For example, she executive produced 4 consecutive Super Bowl halftime performances for Outsiders from 2021 to 2024. The working relationship between Desiree and Jay-Z appears to be based on mutual respect and trust, but it goes far deeper than that, and some have dubbed Desiree J disease. For those who are unaware, Grell de Blanco was a legendary drug lord from Colombia who was known for using brutal methods that are thought to. She showed no mercy to her opponents, and she was accountable for at least 200 unknown deaths. From the 1970s to the beginning of the 2000s, Griselda dominated her area and held court in Miami. In 1975, she was caught and given a 20-year jail sentence, which she served for 19 years before being released due to medical issues. Deported back to Colombia in September 2012, where she would be killed by motorcycle assassins in Medellin. As of right now, no one is certain who planned Griselda's murder, despite some very credible suspects. Now, you may be wondering how this relates to Desiree and how Jay-Z ends up playing well. To start, here is a picture of a young Jay-Z and Griselda Blanco. According to court documents obtained by the New York Daily News, Desiree Perez was arrested in 1994 for possessing 35 kilograms of cocaine and conspiring to distribute drugs. Authorities believe Desiree was a part of a much larger substance distribution conspiracy that spanned from New York to Florida and Puerto Rico. Desiree wasn't traveling alone. A husband, Juan O.G. Purr, was also a co-conspirator and reportedly knew Grella Blanco directly. This is where things start to get really weird. Jay-Z and OG Juan and Jay-Z are actually quite close. They co-founded the 40/40 Club in the mid-1990s, and years later, Jay-Z made. OG Juan is the president of Roc Nation Sports, but insiders claim that Jay-Z and OG Juan's relationship began years ago when Jay-Z was still working the streets, and they allegedly dealt in the same merchandise, if you understand what I mean. Anyway, let's go back to Desiree and her federal case after being found in possession of all those kilograms. As we mentioned before in Desiree's case, wasn't just a minor case. It involved some major cartel players and kingpins, and get this, despite how serious the situation was, Desiree only received 5 years of probation. It turns out that she was placed on probation because she agreed to work with the U.S. Attorney's Office and become an informant, and she wasn't going to. In an article about the case, the New York Daily claimed that a June 11, 1996, court hearing that was obtained by the news revealed the feds were happy with their star mole and that the defendant had truly collaborated with these agents. She apparently took her job very seriously and even wore wires to gather intelligence on her former partners. When arguing to keep Perez out of jail, Assistant U.S. Attorney Lawrence Bartfeld told a judge that day. The article also mentioned Desiree, a nightclub manager in Manhattan with a long criminal history, and close ties to hip-hop mogul Jay-Z. It also detailed her wild and lengthy history as a DEA cooperating witness and fugitive. What's funny is that when it was revealed that Jay-Z had appointed Desiree as president of Roc Nation, his old friend and business partner Dame Dash appeared on Sway early in the morning and made it apparent that Jay had gone too far by hiring a federal informant. According to Dame, many members of Jay's circle, including Perrine. However, Jay-Z wasn't the only one making shady choices, such as hanging out with snitches. In May 2020, Meek Mill called out Tekashi 69 and said he should apologize for snitching. Biggs Burge, one of Rockefeller's co-founders, had previously dealt with problems with the federal government, so it made no sense for Jay-Z to bring an informant into the mix. Said, "I hope that rat goes live to apologize to the people he told on or the victim. You guys forgot that a rat was dead and nippy, and the only thing I have to say is that he's not with us and left his baby mom and child like cowards as targets." This tweet did not impress the fans, and they quickly reminded Meek Mill that he shouldn't be the one criticizing others for being spies because he is one himself, or at least he tries to act like one. People have shown him these pictures from 2019, which show Desiree personally escorting Meek Mill to court, where he was able to negotiate the dismissal of his charges. Okay, with a known informant helping, he escaped jail time.
Desiree Perez became a cooperating witness for the DEA in the 1990s after her 1994 arrest for possession of 35 kilos of cocaine. Perez struck a deal with the feds, agreeing to wear a hidden wire to record her meetings with major cocaine traffic cartel. Her undercover informant work won her courtroom praise for federal prosecutors, as did mine, after she helped them break up major dealers in Puerto Rico and Colombia. You see Meek Mill right here with Desiree Perez, right? She's part of his bail with Jay-Z. This part of Roc Nation, right? She's a executive at Roc Nation. But then you go saying, "Yo, listen, we don't fuck with rats." Your executive is a rat. So you pick and choose? Because if you don't want to be around rats completely, you're with a rat right there. She cooperated for the DEA. Meek Mill, you can't pick and choose who you want to call rats. You can't say this is fake. This is on public information. This was on the New York Times. What are you gonna say? No, I didn't know. You know.
Only a few months after Tekashi criticized Meek for working with Desiree, it was revealed that Desiree was among the 143 individuals under Trump's first administration who received pardons or had their sentences lowered. Yet, Desiree's pardon and subsequent passage as the discovery of the federal informant only led to additional turmoil as many people began disparaging Jay-Z and Roc Nation for their collaboration with her. Tory Lanez's father was one of those who called Jay out when Tory was given a 10-year prison term. Present for killing Megan the horse, he launched on a tirade outside the courthouse, accusing Desiree of being a snitch and implying that Roc Nation was involved in Tory's incarceration.
You want to know exactly how I'm feeling? I just stood here in this Los Angeles County and witnessed the worst miscarriage of justice that this world has ever seen. You want to know how I feel? I'll tell you exactly how I feel. I got some names that I want to call. Alex Spiro, Desiree Perez, and the whole wicked system of Roc Nation, including you, Jay-Z.
Yes, yes.
You who say you rose from the gutter, but you have traded and bartered the souls of young men. And you're still doing it. But I'm telling you, this court system is not for justice. It's about wins and losses, and they do dirty to do whatever they can. Jay-Z, let me speak to you.
He has kids.
Roc Nation! Because my son refused to sign a Roc Nation deal with you.
Yes.
And Desiree Perez, you wicked witch, you snitch.
Yes.
You turned on your co-conspirators over the whole trust me, I have intercessors, prayer warriors around the world, and they will not stop until you cut off. No, we don't you with guns, but we know exactly how to bring you down in the spirit.
That's right.
Remember Jay-Z's friend DeHaven? Well, he also had a lot to say about Desiree, basically calling her a snitch, and blasting Jay for even being anywhere near her.
And keep in mind, the chick had a plan too. Like, yo, we can do things. And I can guarantee you the conversation with Emery, even when Emery came home and seen, he came home and seen the same thing. Yo, you dealing with her?
Who's the chick?
Desiree.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
He came home and had to see it too. Say, yo, what is this? And I can tell you how that conversation probably went. Like, look, man, you don't need to worry about this. You don't need to worry about nothing else ever again. You over here with us now. But what if, yo, she a snitch? Man, that snitch, bro. Them people that's talking about that snitch, we ain't gonna be breathing in the same ear. That's what you worried about, them that don't have nothing sitting home. Where you gonna be if you don't get on this side? The hell get on this side? I can see that conversation happening. And they move all his integrity and morals to the side to take care of his family after he just did 12 years. I can see that. But I don't see, and what I couldn't put past me, is Emery coming to me. Just on some real shit. This is what hurt when I say, when you expect niggas that treat you the way you treat them, and it don't work that way.
No, that's the worst thing you could ever do.
You know, because I could have expected a nigga to come to me and say, look, man, I don't know what Jay tripping off of. He's still tripping off of that, this, that, and the third. I'm not really with that, but you can't tell him I'm with you. So this is what I'm gonna do. Boom, 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 we work from there. Real. But to act like, yo, I'm gonna join forces and do the same thing and play this like this, come on, man. That's humiliating. And now I got you as a yes man. Like, yo, bro, you couldn't even speak up for me. You know what I'm saying? So all of that twisted. And that's how all those conversations, that's how they think of us. They like, really, those guys talking about snitching, this and that, man, what you worried about them for? They don't be in our parties. You know what I'm saying? What you worried about that for?
Now, all of this has led to speculation that Jay-Z is untouchable because he's protected by the feds, which is why he never gets into trouble with the feds, even when all his close friends are falling around him. In his recent interview, Katt Williams revealed that Jay-Z and a lot of other celebrities fall into this category. According to him, a lot of your favorite rappers are just informants who will snitch on anyone if it gets them what they want.
In the rap world, like all of the rappers that you know that never been to jail and never gotten any trouble with the law, but they talk as if their life is opposite of that. Like, those are federal informants, like, you know. You think they're really out there? Yeah. That's part of the job, is to acquire those. It's like saying, you know, if you're playing chess, do you have any pawns? You have to, don't you? You can't start without them.
However, we'd now like to know what you think. Do you believe that Jay-Z is safe because he's a federal attorney? Believe it's just a broad reach? Comment below and be sure to return for this next video.